Okay, I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube. Am I still live on Discord? Can you guys hear me on Discord also? There's no way. What? There's no way. I gotta clip this thing to myself. Hang on. There's no way. That is unbelievable. Okay, Mac. Okay, Mac, this is crazy. I'm live on Discord with my webcam, and then I have my two cameras over here. Now, do I push the limits? Do I push the limits and try and camera switch on? Thank you, Robert. Let me post this in announcements. Live on YouTube here. Okay. Confirm. Wild. But I don't see, yeah, trippy live chat, two places at once. Well, only 25 people. I think Discord just caps it at that. All right, let me. Sorry, just give me a second here. I'm just. Okay. Wonderful. Great. Great. I don't know what that means, Divyanish. Is the pay at Humane better than it? It's a genuine question. Better than what? Good morning from Mexico. Okay. Good morning from the United States of America. Now, can I go back into this Discord? Go for it. YouTube is a bit delayed. Late 2022 is cool. Stan and tech company Casey vlogging at his own rate. Jesse vlogging sometimes. I still can't wrap my head around the timing, right? Just like the sheer timing of all of this. Yeah, I move out of New York for after 9 years, and but I'll be back at some point in my life. And then Neistat moves back to New York, literally within the same 3 days. How does that happen? Someone tell me how that happens. It's nuts. Becca Johnson, Aiden Kennedy, Bren, Eric, Bren, Chase, Daniel, Michael, Zarif, Double Sam, Vids Mode, Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida, Michael Superbacker in the house, Brain in a Bat, Danny Behar. What's up, Ben Geskin? Good morning. What is going on? This is great, but I'm really hoping to know more. Pop my head into the registered addresses around SF during my trip, and they seem to be all dead ends. We're in stealth mode right now. Our offices are not really, open for visitation at this point in time. Love is Supreme, got my jacket, nice. One was a shared workspace above a coffee shop. That might be our old office. Christina Gregory, good morning. Mac in the building. Good morning. What's up, Jason? Good morning. Good morning. Who is the guest today? The guest today is José Cong, who will be here in like 20-ish minutes. Jose worked at Apple. Jose left Apple to go work at Nest, helped launch and build and sell Nest, and now he works at Humane. And we're going to hear from Jose today because I don't exactly know his origin story. Nick Tolson, 7 months. Let's go 7 months. Just noticed I have a new badge. Nice. Do you look at that? Jono asks, "Hi Sam, do you know José Cong at Humane?" We will all get to know José Cong today at Humane. Michael Mofina, OMG, hi Christina. Do you guys know each other? Oh shit, my logo changed. Nice. Orange badges. Any open roles for newly laid off Twitter folks? Alex Mack, you're asking the tough questions here. What is Humane about, Sam? I've seen the videos, but still confused about the purpose. Well, here's what I can say. Here's what I can say to you publicly. Divyansh Singh. Here's what I can say. We are building hardware and software. We're building a platform for artificial intelligence. Our first device, the gadget, will be revealed to the world sometime in the year 2023. We are building personal technology for the intelligence age. Artificial intelligence is already changing the tech landscape. And if you disagree, I think you're just not paying attention. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but if you're unaware of the AI tools that exist right now, I would say go to your favorite web browser, and I would say put in a search for DALL-E 2 or Midjourney or GPT-3, or if you're maybe a little bit more technical, check out Whisper. AI is here. It's here, right under our noses. What was it like to find out actually you're building right after long speculation? Pretty cool that I'm here. Pretty nuts, the way this whole entire thing sort of happened also and went down. Let me just see what happens if I do this. That still works. Am I still in Discord? Okay. Well, I volunteered as a tribute for beta testing. I'm sure you're not getting enough volunteers on that. Yeah. I got both streams up. Epic. Wait, who's tagging me here? For reference, but the Sky Floor. So the Sky Floor says, for future reference, Sam Sheffer, Discord stages will let you do the streaming and then have a lot more audience than 25. But here's the thing. Can we do more than 25 with cams on? Even though no one has. I'm hanging out in Discord also simultaneously, and this machine can handle this somehow. Wait, you can do cams, stages? What's up, Aiden? Good morning. You might need nitro boosts. Okay. Well, that could absolutely be a thing then for next time. We're all learning here together. This is huge. What's up, David Perry? You should have a stream button that plays a promo video with this information. We don't exactly have a promo video that contains that information. Maybe I should figure out, if there's anyone at the company that makes videos that maybe has, a YouTube channel with people that are maybe waiting for an upload. Maybe it's worth posting something to my own YouTube channel about what Humane is doing. I don't know. Could be cool. Are you going to release these as podcasts? They live on my YouTube channel. I should. Sammy looking West Coasty. Am I looking West Coasty? I mean, I guess maybe I am. Happy 8 weeks. Yes, this is the end of my 8th week. And then pending updates comes up. No, I don't want to update. No. Dude, what? Okay. Twitter stuff is a mess. Elon's going to ruin that company so fast. Yeah, it feels like we're in the midst of a social media cataclysm where there are just like there's a lot of it feels like there's a lot of like tugging in a sense. It's very strange. I feel like I've been involved with social media for the last 15 years. Like, I had a MySpace account in 2006, 7. I remember when Facebook was a new thing. And just to see the sort of like massive meteoric rise of Meta in it was really like the 2010s, to now this just like insane, I mean, from a stock perspective. Hey, Sam, check out Discord stages. 2023 is shaping up to be a memorable year in tech. Let's hope so. I did see that Juliana Bain already left Twitter earlier in the year to join Humane and said on LinkedIn that she was recommending Humane as a great place for tweeps to apply. Juliana Bain. Yes, I know Juliana in New York. Are you going to release these as podcasts? I don't know where exactly I would publish them. Because like, this is like, I wouldn't want to release this part as a podcast, Slap from Discord gang. Happy 8 weeks. This Twitter stuff is a mess. On Discord, live chat reminder. Where's the secret Discord link? Social media cataclysm, such an apt way of putting it. What's up, Sam? Haven't been on one of your streams in ages. I'm in San Francisco. Good morning. I'm in San Francisco. I've been at Humane now here in the office for 8 weeks. And I've been streaming every Friday for the last, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 weeks in a row. I don't know. We're on Humane time here, and it's both moving at light speed and no speed at all. How mind blown will the people be once Humane releases their product? Well, keep in mind that this is our first product, and I think people are going to be excited that that there's something new. We're really trying to push things forward, and again. You have to understand that I've recently joined the company, so I'm still getting used to the fact that I work here now, after being just totally enamored by the Humane, the brand, Humane, the team, Humane, the story. But if I go back, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months. I would still say, yeah, keep an eye on Humane for sure. Hey, there he is. We need a Humane emotes on here. Humane YouTube channel when challenging the status quo about the same speed as the subscriber amount. Hopefully you moved to Have you fully moved to San Fran? Well, I'm here. I've committed to life here for the time being. I wouldn't say I'm here for a little. What I say is I'm here indefinitely. I'll be here for a few minutes. Thanks, Sam, for all your support. Miss you so much, dude. Well, I'm live every Friday, and I miss you as well, Luther. How many offices do you guys have? It's a good question. Good morning, Sam. Long time no see, brother. Love the hoodie. Keep up the streams. Thanks. I'm actually feeling a little bit warm. Now, I haven't worn this Supreme sweater. But if you're a real OG, and I'm talking like Verge 90 seconds on the Verge type of OG, you'll remember I think this is no joke. I think this is like fall winter 2013. I want to say this is an ancient Supreme sweater. Okay. Oh, I lost the camera. Did I lose a camera? I did lose a camera. Give me a second here. Am I still on Discord? I think after a half hour, it just wants to take a little nap. Okay, the autofocus seems to be working very well, which is a good thing. Okay, I haven't tweeted this. Do it. Yeah. Do what you need to do. No, you're good. I would like to turn the camera around and just give you a view of the kitchen. It's hard for me to describe where things are, but the kitchen is over here, and then the office is, I'm in the office, but everything's sort of back there. Nice shirt. Where is it from? Supreme. 90 seconds on the Verge. I'm an OG before that. That's epic. Is Humane hiring engineers or marketing people, etc.? What kind of jobs is your company hiring for? Go to hu.ma.ne/jobs. A lot of engineering roles. A ton of engineering roles. And specifically security engineers. If you or a loved one or a partner or a friend or a roommate from college or maybe a former colleague, if anyone you know does security engineering, please tell them to apply. You got a sweater under the hoodie? It's freezing here, admittedly. I'm let's see. Good morning, Yanir. Let's see. It is locked watch cold outside. It's like 50 degrees here, which is the conversion to 50 is what, 7-8 degrees, I think. Fun fact, Sam, Shaq, and that sweater have all, oh my God, yes! Oh my God, I wish I could pull up the photo. Oh my God. Can someone, that's gonna be hard to find. The live stream still exists, which is pretty crazy. Time to move from AWS to Humane then. Do you know what framework they use to make the Humane website? I know that I'm pretty sure it's all custom. Been in SF for 8 weeks and you're already warm blood. Yeah, this is my 8th week here and it's cold. It's not warm. It's cold. Wow. Wait, why is this live stream so far behind? So weird. Am I still on Discord? I am still on Discord. Have a great Friday, everyone. Got to bounce. Nice. Okay, so I'm still here on Discord. Hi, Discord friends. This is so funny. I can't believe this works. I'm actually shocked. driven art tools have been Diffusion B on Mac OS, all local private, just need 8 gigs for models. Whoa. I didn't even know that existed. That's dope. I can't believe, I'm going to say it one more time. I cannot believe that this is the little MacBook that could. 14-inch M1 Pro, like nothing even that crazy. And so my MacBook is plugged into the charger because the battery would be absolutely draining. I'm running 2 cameras, but I don't have a USB-A port, so I'm USB-C dongled to my 2 Elgato cam links over HDMI. This is a little bit warm. It feels nice. Then I have my Mix Pre plugged in over USB-C. I'm running 2 cameras, and I'm live streaming on YouTube, and I'm also live on Discord with my webcam. How is that a thing? I can't believe it. Here, let me change. Let me just show you. Here it is. The little MacBook that could. And I'm still holding this like a Gen Z TikToker. Why is this all the rage these days? Can someone give me a succinct answer? Are you able to talk about your role, job, position, what you kind of do there? Yeah. I am the head of new media, so sort of like most of the outward-facing, communication and social channels. I have a hand in, like things like the newsletter, the Twitter account. I created the Discord, and then there are things that I can't really talk about. Like the product itself, helping sort of shape, what rollout looks like, what the product itself looks like. We're building, our ambitions are insane. I'm looking over here. We have really insane ambitions. And honestly, Mr. Superbacker, I'm so happy to be here. It's still so crazy to me that I work here. But yeah, again, I'm still, I think I'm very much still finding my footing here because it's only been 2 months. Sick Jumper, if you need a content creator assistant. Thanks, Luke. What's a day like at Humane versus a day in New York before Humane? Lawrence Fishburne's chin. What a username. Could we become mods too? So I picked up the new Wisecam V3 Pro. It's such a big improvement from the V3 you have. You mean the one that took a tumble the 3 stories? Sammy or Sam, you call me whatever you like. I don't know what month the gold is. After 6 months, I think so. What's up, Johnny Jones? Yeah, boy. Have you heard about Lot 2046? No, I can't say I have. I don't know what that is. Camera? Do these commands work? I don't even think they work. I have the 13-inch 2020 M1 Pro Absolute Beast. I can't imagine how powerful M1 Max and M2 Max must be. TikTok was popularized by a tiny mic from Alibaba that is alive inside a tiny dynamic mic shell. Yeah, the little tiny, who are we here with? Sam Sheffer. Sam, how do you take your coffee? Well, every morning when I get to the office, I turn on the machine. I fill up the water. I press grind on the beans. Sometimes I need to load the beans. Press grind on the beans, and what's cool is when it packs the disc, so it grinds the beans, packs the disc, you take the little disc thing, coffee aficionados understand what I'm saying here, and then you take the little disc thingy, put it in the next thing, and then the water goes through and it pulls you a shot or double shot, whatever you want, and then there's also a milk steamer built in, and I use almond milk. I'm using, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ghirardelli chocolate, so I make myself a little mocha. The Humane mugs, they're not really Humane mugs. Bethany, where are these from? CB2 mugs. Not a sponsored, not a sponsorship for CBT, but or CB2, but everyone always asks about these mugs. Yeah, the Imran's black and white aesthetic in here it's awesome. Yeah, exactly. Except we don't call it listening. Going outside in 22 to permit to answer. What are you listening to? What do you do for a living? Can I tour your apartment? It's pretty insane how this man on the street concept for content now is having an ultra viral moment. Like, I think back to like Billy on the Street. I think back to Ed Bassmaster. I think back to Impractical Jokers. But the ability now, how democratized making content has become. Good morning, Michelle. It's so easy for anyone to everyone has a video recording device in their pockets that are like remarkably good considering what this thing is now, the phone. And you just go outside and you just ask people like, excuse me, sir, what do you do for a living? 12 million followers on TikTok? Insane. Nick Tolson dropping 10 gifted? Where's Jose is here somewhere. I don't know exactly where he is. Yo, Nick, thanks for the 10 gifted. I just want to sort of say, I'm so happy to see all of these familiar faces here. I'm still live on Discord, so I'm pointing to my webcam here. But keep in mind, right, I was going live every single day, most days from the studio in New York. And not so long ago, it really wasn't even so long ago, I was living a completely different life. Right? Like, I was doing my thing in New York. I was like really into fitness. You know, I was really into the live streams. I was really into this concept of Humane. And then before I knew it, my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you why I moved across the country to take a job at Humane. Nuts. Billy on the Street slaps. Yeah. Now he works in tech and joined a climbing gym. Are you still grinding workouts? What's up, Ilgu? Admittedly, I haven't been to the gym once this week. Now, my excuse is it's cold outside. Because the gym is like right by, the gym is on the water. The gym is right by the Golden Gate Bridge. I go to this climbing gym called Movement. And they leave the windows open in the gym. There's like a gigantic garage door that they open because it's like they want to cool the gym down, but it's like 60 and my hands are just, it takes me so long to warm up. And then I recently discovered that there's a freaking sauna at the gym. So it's like, am I going to go to the sauna to warm my blood and then go climb? It's very hard to climb when you're cold. I remember Sober's asking what Humane video is dropping. I know. It took me a while to make that. How do you get around? Yeah, boosted. What would Goggett say about that? You're right. How do you like living in San Francisco? It's not New York. That's what I'll say. Probably for ventilation. Yes, exactly. Cat Burns, yes. Classic new tech worker, LOL. At Instagram, we used to call month one stone one because newbies put on so much weight from the free food. I've actually lost weight somehow. I've managed to not gain weight here, which feels pretty awesome. Did you get a card now? Any hints on what the first product of Humane might be? It is a hardware and software gadget. It is a new piece of tech. That's what I can say. Sam, what do you use the Sennheiser at 450? Oh, the 460, 440? I have that boom mic. That's what I use to like record videos. Although this one's pretty dang good, I will say. This is the Sennheiser AVX. I should just clip this to myself instead of holding it like a bozo. This is the Sennheiser AVX. I have the MKH 460, I believe it is. It's crazy because they're both $1,000. But what's nice is like I can get up and walk around and you'll still hear me. I heard the steamer and thought someone was shushing you. Yeah, the milk steamer is quite loud. How are you able to take your boosted board to SF from New York? Ramon sings. I think you're asking the wrong question. I think the question you should have asked is, did you take one of your boards from New York? Because then I would have just said to you, no, I got a board here. What are your thoughts about Antetokounmpo, Giannis, one of the greatest basketball players, one of the greatest living basketball players right now, absolute beast. I think maybe I've understood for a long time what getting the job you are doing means and how cool becoming part of this origin story is. Aiden Kennedy, it's pretty nuts, man. It doesn't get past me how insane this whole thing is. Like truly, it is truly insane. Massive congrats on the new job. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I am very consciously aware, hyper aware, that really not even so long ago, like you flip the calendar back, June, July, August 4th, I'm in New York City doing my thing. And here, November 4th, I'm living in San Francisco working at Humane. And keep in mind, I was a YouTuber for 5 years. That was the longest job I've ever had. I was at Engadget from 2009 to 2011, left, went to This Is My Next. The Verge launched November 1st. Happy 11 years, Verge. Crazy. As of November 1st. Did they even post anything that it was their 11th? Mic fell down. Oh, thanks. Did they even post that it was their 11th birthday? Was at The Verge from 2011 to 2015, then went to Mashable from 2015 to 2017, then left Mashable in 2017 to make YouTube videos full time, and now I'm here. Okay, let me see where, okay, I'm gonna set up the microphone. Audio is off, mate. Audio. Where's Casey? Who's Casey? I've heard this guy Casey before. Sometimes I see his name mentioned in the stream. Does anyone know who this guy Casey is? What does he do? Is he like, what is he? Casey? Anyone? I feel like I've heard of him before. And anyone know this guy Casey? Casey Newton, yeah, Casey Newton. That's the one. He's the dude that snowboards in the streets. Streamlabs, Stream Elements. Is it broken? Is the bot running? I don't even know. Okay, I'm gonna turn on these. How many electric skateboards do you have now? A lot. I know a Cassie. Have you seen any new product demos of Humane behind the scenes? And if so, what was it? Yeah, let me just spill all the beans here, Zayed Mohammed. Here, I'll tell you everything I need to know. Beep. Imagine that would be cool if I had like a bleep thing and I can pixelate my mouth. Sushi Dragon, where are you? Stefan, I need you here now. Okay, so I think, Jose, I'll be ready for you in around 1 minute. All right, I think this is the microphone. Okay. Yeah, it does, Michael Mofina. NDA stands for Now Disclose All. Okay, tell me, microphone auxiliary in. Okay, tell me, is this working? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, is this one working? Live stream chat, is this one working? No sound. I think there is sound though. Is there not sound? Mic dead. Discord went out. Yes? Yes? 4, 5, 6? Yes? Yes? Can I get 712 yeses? New mic is good. Okay, great. So, Jose, I'm going to give this to you. You're going to sit here. And I'm going to unmute myself. I'm going to continue driving the computer. Okay. I'm going to hopefully turn this, make sure. Okay, give us a sound check.
1, 2, 1,
2. Can you muffled sound? Shouldn't be muffled. Shouldn't be muffled at all. Both audio works? Okay, great. But a little quiet on the road. Luther, you don't need to paste the thing 3 times. I see. Low volume. His levels are low. Okay, well, let's do this. Negative 21 decibels. Let's do this. All right, Jose, give me another sound check.
Hello. 1,
okay,
2.
How's that? I raised his gain. The gain has been raised. Raise the gain. Both work, but road needs to be boosted. Perfecto. Just want to help. Thank you, Luther. Better? Good, better, best, great. I don't even think I tweeted the live stream. All right, let me do this really quickly. Let me do copy. Let me go into a browser. I'm already in a browser. Let me go to the Twitter universe. Let me find the tweet. Let me reply to my own tweet. Live at. I can't type. Live at Humane.
It's too cold.
Dude, don't even get me started. It is too cold. My hands are freezing. I'm like, I need hand warmers. I need to just have hand warmers in my pockets.
Didn't you come from New York?
I did. I'm not built for this. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. You can mute Discord. Most of us seem to have both open now. Mute Discord. Oh, you're saying mute my mic on Discord. I see. Okay, well, I'm gonna turn my camera off on Discord, just because there's nothing really to see here. No, don't mute. You want me to hear? You can mute me. You can mute me if you want to. If you're hanging out in the Discord, the green room, you can just mute me. You can right-click on my name and click mute. I think. I'm pretty sure. Okay. You can? Yeah, you can. Okay. This is some Primo Live. In 35 in Colorado, we got snow yesterday. Wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to introduce my new friend and colleague, José Cong.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jose has a lot of stories. You have been in the game for longer than most.
22 years.
22 years. I'm 21 years old, so imagine. So Jose, what I like to get into here is I like to get into the origin story. We're like, yeah, it's awesome that you worked at Apple. Yeah, it's awesome that you helped build and sell Nest to Google. Sure, yeah, But like, I want to know where Jose came from. How did you manage to, find Apple, get involved? Where are you from? Let's sort of, so just to provide some context. So Jose, this is your camera here. I can live switch. So when you're sort of getting into it, I've got you here like this. So Jose, just to give some context here, you've been at Humane for
A little over 2 years, about 2.25 almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a relatively long time.
It is a long time. Feels like.
What employee number are you?
21.
Yeah. Employee number 21, and now we're over 150, something like that?
187, I think.
187. Growing fast.
Fast.
And before Humane, now correct me if I'm wrong, you were at not Nest,
I was retired. I came out of retirement for Humane. I was a stay-at-home dad. I was also disenfranchised with the world of technology.
Well, you've seen a lot of.
I've seen a lot, and when I thought about doing it one more time, I just couldn't find anything that was meaningful.
Now let me
I couldn't
ask you
find
this.
the moonshots.
What do you mean, do it one more time? Go from 0 to 1?
0 to 1. 0 to 1.
And for the people that might not know what does that mean?
0 to 1 means doing something that's never been done before. Right, something that's unproven.
Like the
NVIDIA
iPod.
back in earlier in my career.
NVIDIA.
Yep, the iPod.
Wow, I forget that you worked at NVIDIA. Wow. So you went from NVIDIA to Apple to
No,
Nest.
I went from NVIDIA.
You just lay it on me here.
Let's see. So I went from NVIDIA, where I was a consultant, to I was there for a little over a year. Double digit.
What year?
Oh God, this would have been late '90s. This would have been late '90s. I mean,
Oh my God.
there were maybe 50 people in the company.
Wow.
Right, and I would.
Here?
Here. It was in the God. Who were they? They were in Santa Clara.
Santa Clara.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is just south of San Francisco.
Okay.
In the South Bay, and I was working closely with Jensen, the founder and CEO, and working closely with the VP of engineering. The name escapes me right now. And literally, I was helping him to build the engineering organization as a consultant. Came a point where I was offered a full-time position, but being fresh out of school, not understanding like the world of equity, right?
Yeah, being a kid.
I just didn't fathom, the idea of walking away from my hourly rate, which at the time it seemed like it was a lot. Looking back,
So
it
that was
really
your
wasn't.
first job out of school?
It was, yeah, my first job out of school. My first job out of school was working for a executive retained search firm, and NVIDIA was one of my clients. Was one of my main clients.
Were you into technology, sort of like?
I was and I wasn't. I thought that my path was going to be radio, film, and television, and I had the opportunity to go to New York and attend Syracuse University.
You went to Syracuse,
Right, but I didn't.
Okay.
I opted not to.
Okay.
Northern
Okay.
New York, upstate New York, no thanks. Right, and so
Yeah, dude.
I had no idea what I was going to do. Ended up switching to your generic business degree,
Okay.
and ended up with an opportunity by chance to work in technology, to work in recruiting. Ended up doing an internship with the firm that I was working at, and that led me to actually drop out of school when they made me an offer.
Wow, so you did that while you were still in school?
Yeah, well, I was still in school.
So you never graduated?
I never graduated.
Wow. So young 21, 22-year-old Jose Cong is working your first sort of real job for this consulting company. And then you were able to like get into the tech world because one of these clients was NVIDIA at the time.
Well, all of the clients were in the tech world.
All of the clients
Yeah,
were in tech
it wasn't in NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the one that has survived. NVIDIA, it's
I mean,
a monster,
it's-
right? Like it's amazing what
it's
they have done.
insane what they've become.
Like the one regret and the biggest lesson of my life was saying no to NVIDIA in terms of converting from being a consultant into.
So you left.
I left. There was a point where their executive team wanted me to come in and be a full-time employee. And once I turned them down, the relationship changed, right? We weren't as close.
Why did you turn it down?
You know what? At the
You
time,
weren't
I
feeling
thought,
it?
I just had no idea. I just had no idea of the impact that I could have internally. Again, I had no notions of what equity, could become.
You didn't have the experience.
I didn't have any
yet,
experience, right? You gotta remember, I didn't even graduate from
That's
college,
crazy.
right?
Wow.
And so, I also hated the idea of not being able to work with other clients. And I had strong relationships with other clients. There was a company called Altion Web Systems, one of the
Does
earliest.
anyone remember this?
I don't think anyone. I would be shocked if anybody knows Altion Web Systems. If somebody can Wikipedia it, maybe you can fact check me. I am pretty old, so I don't know if I remember all the facts. But Altion Web System was one of the earlier internet switch companies back in the late 90s.
Internet switch?
Yeah,
companies?
it's switches for routers and things like that, like big server type of stuff. And believe it or not, that company it's probably the most fire company that I have ever worked with in my whole career. And the reason being is those guys were aggressive. They knew what they wanted. And, the reasons why no one knows them is because they were able to go public rather quickly. Their stock went up to $100 a share, split, went back up to $100 a share, split, and then they were acquired and the company disappeared. To this day, I don't think anybody, and I don't know if they had more than 100 people.
Who acquired the company?
I can't even remember who acquired. It might have been Bay Networks, which again, a long time ago.
I don't know what any of this stuff is. Wow.
Yeah, and so to be honest, I think that's the company that I wanted to go work for full time. If I was going to leave, like my consulting job, it was going to be
Was
for
this
that
one of the companies that was in the consulting? One of the companies that the company was consulting?
Yep. One of the companies that
okay,
were.
so
we were a
you
vendor.
were like no to NVIDIA and no. Did you leave the consulting company as well?
I left. So
left?
I left. At one point, I was considering trading some of my my fees for equity, and the consulting company didn't want to do that, and so I ended up leaving, and I went to go work for a company called LSI Logic. Again, probably most people don't know who LSI Logic is, but back in the day, LSI was one of the companies that was an offshoot of Fairchild Semiconductors, which was one of the genesis of the Silicon Valley. And we were basically touching every electronic through various components in silicone that we were making. And so I spent a couple of years there.
So that was a full-time role, non-consultant.
It was, no, I was consulting.
You were consulting?
I was consulting, but I was consulting in-house. And that's when I realized that I had more opportunity to create impact and influence being internal than being external, right? And so had a blast. It was a great company. The company was not doing very well back in those days.
What year are we in now?
This is probably 99 to 2000,
man.
2001.
Oh, wow.
Right?
The dot-com boom.
The dot-com booms, yeah. And so I helped to basically implode part of the company and then rebuild it. We ended up building the Internet Computing Division and also helped out with the earliest onset of what became the DVD industry. Our biggest client was the original Sony PlayStation. We did one of the main chips for them.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it was.
I just want to stop and say how this whole thing was sort of like accidental, right?
Absolutely.
It's like,
no
what?
idea that this industry existed. No idea that this is what I wanted to do. But I quickly realized that, maybe at the time it was easy, right, to earn a living and, meeting people and entertaining them and convincing them to join the company.
Wow.
But eventually I realized that the role that I was doing could have a bigger impact if I was able to get in at the earliest onset of the architecture. And so I started spending more and more time in the lab. I started spending more and more time in meetings, right? And started to think about forecasting and started to utilize data early on in terms of identifying, the forecast that was going to be needed so that I could help them to better plan the schedules.
You're able to sort of like, you look around and you go, I see potential here.
Yep,
You
no,
know?
absolutely.
You're like, here's a few puzzle pieces that I would move or some blocks that I would, or building blocks that I would rearrange. In this sort of way, one second, I just need to, I don't know why, I thought I had that disabled. And then you say, okay, if we can do, A, B, and C, then maybe the outcome could be X, Y, and Z, right? Okay, I just want to I want to pause and even rewind the clock further back. You're from California?
I'm originally from Mexico, right? Came to California in '86.
Born and raised in Mexico.
In Mexico, yeah.
Came to California because your parents moved.
No, came to
No.
California because my grandmother was living here, and my dad thought that it would be advantageous for me to come learn English. So I was supposed to come for a year, and ended up staying,
For the rest of your life.
basically, yeah.
What age was that? You were a kid?
I did the 6th grade here, so what's that?
6th grade, 12?
12,
or
yeah.
something
12.
like that? Wow, so your childhood was in Mexico.
Yep.
And then, boop, right into California.
San Francisco, right into San Francisco.
In the city?
In the city. Yep. My grandmother used to live towards the avenues, towards the beach.
Wow. So you've been in SF for...
Well, I wouldn't say I've been in SF. I love San Francisco,
Okay.
but as I've gotten older, the South Bay has better weather.
Yeah, you
right,
literally
more
just
room.
drive 30, 40 minutes down and it's
Yeah.
sunny.
Yep, more room.
Yeah.
And my family has moved down there, so I now call San Jose home.
San Jose. Okay. Not a pun that your name
Right.
is Jose, but okay. So you went to high school here
Right.
in San Francisco, in the city.
No, actually, we ended up moving right when I was to start high school, so I went to high school in San Jose.
Wow, so you had to make a new group of friends.
Oh, yeah.
You moved here not knowing anyone.
Not
even
knowing
knowing
a word of English. And you want to know something crazy?
Damn, that is crazy.
You want to know something crazy? I was born in Mexico. My mother's Mexican. My father is Chinese. My grandmother, who I moved in with, didn't speak Spanish, I didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Chinese. And I ended up moving out here. And somehow her and I figured out how to get me into school, figure out how to get me to understand what the bus system was like. And yeah.
Wow. Do you remember like what it was like to learn English? You know, like,
You know what? I think at that age it was pretty easy.
yeah,
Right.
Your
I
brain
think-
is like a sponge. You sort of absorb everything.
And
Wow.
and also the
Wow.
survival mode, right? Of wanting
Wow.
to meet people, of wanting to understand what was
Yes,
happening.
yes.
I think that accelerated it.
Do you think you were excited as a kid to sort of like start over in a sense, like get a new life? You know.
You know what? I don't know if I was at that time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that experience shaped me in terms of not being afraid to go 0 to 1, not being afraid to, do something that's never been done before.
Wow.
Right? And I'm also not afraid. And I think it also trained me to,
Embrace
to make
change?
connections, to embrace
Yeah.
change, but also to make connections right away with individuals. Right?
Wow.
There was we moved so much that it literally forced me to develop a personality.
Wow. So obviously you know how to speak Spanish.
Yep.
You know to speak English.
Yep. I can understand a little bit of Cantonese.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But not speak it.
But not speaking. No, I
Okay.
wish.
Wow. Okay, so going back to now, fast forwarding in time, this DVD thing, whatever you were saying before. Next job,
So
the fruit company.
2001, right?
This is where it gets
the
good.
economy basically implodes.
The whole
and-
economy, or just the sort of the tech sector?
It was the tech sector, but it was also the economy. It was the time of 9/11, right? And the world was unsure about what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I helped and participated in laying people off at LSI, and then ended up laying myself off.
You laid yourself off.
Yeah, I'll never go through another layoff again. Like what's happening at Twitter today, I can't even imagine.
Did that email go out?
It went out, I believe, this morning. I can't imagine being someone that was affected, but I think it might be worse for those that survive, right? And for me, it was
Why?
that survival guilt. Well, seeing these hundreds of people that you helped to bring in, like all of a sudden be out of a job.
Right,
So for
and
me, it was easy.
it's like you, not you, but like
Yeah.
you brought them in, right? And then some external forces are removing them,
Exactly.
right? Out of your control. Yeah.
So for
you're
me, it was
right, you're
easy to
right.
accept the,
Wow.
a self resignation, a self layoff.
So it was a combination of like 9/11, dot-com boom, then crash, economic sort of
Yep.
downturn, that the company was doing layoffs.
The company, like everybody was doing layoffs back in
Everyone was
the
doing
day.
layoffs.
Everyone
It's like
was doing
now.
layoffs.
It's basically what's happening
basically
now.
the same thing.
Wow, and almost 20 years exactly, right?
Yeah.
21 years later. Okay, so you fired yourself.
So I fired myself. Somehow ended up negotiating a pretty good,
Severance
package.
package?
Yep, severance
Okay.
package. And I thought that I was going to end up traveling the world. I figured, you know what? No one's traveling. This might be the best opportunity to visit, every place that I've ever dreamed of. And I was going to kite surf my way around the world.
Literally.
Yep, literally. I made it down to Baja, and the phone rang, and it was Apple, right?
What
They-
does that mean? The phone rang and what is
the
Apple?
phone
Hi,
rings.
it's Mr. Apple here.
Yeah, the phone rings. There were a couple of individuals that worked with me at LSI, and they were hinting at a new product, right? Where they needed someone that understood internet computing, consumer electronics, and
just
video
people.
experience
And people.
And so. It was Apple, right? The company that I grew up, fantasizing. Back in the day, we couldn't afford an Apple, and I always wanted an Apple, and maybe this was the opportunity to actually finally, play with an Apple. And so I decided, you know what? I'll catch up to you guys, to the group of friends that I was going to travel the world with, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a short-term contract with Apple. I'm going to do a 3-month contract.
Little did you
and I'm gonna-
know,
Little
Jose.
did I know.
Wow.
But it gets better, though.
That's what it started out as?
That's what it
Was
started
a
out.
little 3-month trial period for you.
Started out
That's
as 3 months,
that's
and
unreal.
it ended up turning into me wanting to leave Apple. Like, I think it was maybe like 2 weeks into it, 3 weeks into it. I was working. I was working with the on the Macintosh team, and we were helping them transition from the IBM PowerPC to the Intel Pentium.
This was the because they did this transition recently from Intel to
Yep.
M1, and they had talked about it. It was almost like 20 years, I think, prior, right? That was
Yep.
that was right around that time.
Yep.
They were moving from PowerPC to Intel. Okay, so you joined the Mac team.
So I ended up joining the Mac team, and 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, the work that I was doing didn't feel like it was going anywhere. It wasn't the Apple that I'd imagined. And so I ended up attempting to give notice and ended up attempting to cancel my contract.
Wow.
Somehow that made it up all the way up to the VP of HR, who wanted to chat with me. She was concerned, right? Why I was so disappointed and so eager to leave the company after a few weeks. And in our conversation, she literally just said to me, "Hey, you got to go meet Tony Fadell." Right? No idea who Tony Fadell is. And so she told me, she goes, "Yep, just go across the street. It's a little tiny building in the corner, Mariani 1, and just go. Go meet with them. They'll know who you are." And so met these guys, and the energy, right? The focus, that 1,000-yard stare, right, into the future was there. And it reminded me of the biggest mistake that I made in my career, which was passing on NVIDIA. I felt as if I was talking to Jensen at the time. I felt as if the description of what they wanted to do with the SPG team, it resonated in terms of what NVIDIA was attempting to do.
SPG, for people that don't know,
Special Projects Group. Yep. And
So after one meeting, you went in, blindly met Tony Fadell, and you were like,
Yep, met my boss and then met Tony.
and you were like, this team is serious.
"No,
This
this is it. Like, I want to do this."
And this was pre-iPod?
No. I believe it was 2002.
Okay,
So
so
version
then-
1 was already out. Version
Yes.
2 was in the works.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And it
so,
wasn't a runaway success just yet,
No,
right?
my God, no. I mean, it felt like a runaway success internally.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the previous 3 or 4 years.
Right.
But no, in terms of the industry, no, it wasn't there. But you could feel the momentum, though. You can sense the opportunity, right? Every time the few times I was able to leave the office, because we were working some pretty long hours, you started to see more and more white earbuds, right? And you just knew
You're
that
saying
something.
outside the office,
Yeah.
right? Like you would just go around whatever coffee shops on
Exactly.
the train, whatever, and you're like, oh,
Yep.
all of a sudden there's 1 out of every 100 people
Yep.
to maybe 1 out of every 10 people, because they shipped with the headphones in the box, right?
Probably the greatest marketing piece
Is those
that they did.
freaking
Yep.
white headphones.
All of a sudden, everybody wanted to know, what were you doing with those headphones, white headphones? It looked different than anything ever done before, right? In terms of the shape and the color.
It's interesting to even think about that, Jose, because I was a child at the time, 2001, 2002. I'm 11, 12 years old, but I convinced my parents to buy me a used Gen 1 iPod off of eBay, and my older brother had, remember Rio?
Yeah, I remember the Rio.
So the Rio Chiba, it was like 128 megs, and it was like a tiny, weirdly shaped MP3
like 10
player.
10 songs maybe?
Something like that, right? And then here's this, this company, Apple, that people are like, they're like, whatever, they're hippies, they're,
We were written off. We were written
the
off.
reputation that Apple had before the iPod was night and day. Like the iPod, I think in its like the form factor, the sort of like the 1,000 songs in your pocket, the sort of just like how it was an iconic piece of hardware, right? Like MP3. This is like the Apple thing. You know, so many other companies do their attempt. You know, all these.
Yep.
There was God, there was so many of those MP3 player companies. I feel like people trying to do that hardware. And then Apple was just like, we're going to do it the Apple way and do it like this. Okay, so you're at Apple. You're now working with Tony?
I'm working with Tony's team. Like, I think 40 something of us working in this building called Mariani 1. And I did that from 2002 until about 2004. Right, 2004, my boss and Tony asked me to come into a meeting. And in this meeting, there were 4 individuals there. And it was
What did you think was happening?
I had no idea. Well, no, actually, I'm lying. I had an idea. I was fearful that we were going to try and build a phone. And the reason being is I was being asked to do research into cellular technology, into antennas, right? Into more connectivity, and it just didn't make sense for the iPod to go into that direction.
I just want to remind the 150 people that are watching this: iPod had no Bluetooth, iPod had no Wi-Fi.
Nothing.
2001. I don't even know if most people had Wi-Fi in their homes yet.
Yep. I think
Wow. Okay.
Firewire.
So you were like, this is peculiar. You know, what's going on here?
Yeah, and so I
Okay.
walked in, and basically we were told, all right, codename Purple.
Wow.
Here's an NDA that you have to sign, and effective immediately, you are going to move your office to this sector of the building, and you're not allowed to tell anyone what you're working on or who you're working with.
You didn't have a choice. It sounds
No,
like.
zero choice. But at the same time, though, again, just the excitement, right? The excitement of building whatever what was next was pretty interesting. And then
Can you on a scale give me the weight of like, holy crap, this is insane, to like, whoa, it could be absolutely awesome. Was it a mix?
It started out being this is insane, but it makes sense. Phones had started moving and encroaching into the music, right, industry, and so we needed to do that, right? iPod alone wouldn't have been able to stand alone. It was also at the time when convergence, right, was something that people were looking for, and so but I thought like none of us have any idea. I still remember one of the very first meetings when. Right, Steve addressed the team, and it was like most of us have no idea how phones built. No idea, right? And him and Tony, basically pushed back and said, "Well, you guys are smart, you guys are passionate, you guys are motivated. Go figure it out." And so we did. Between 2004 and 2006. The excitement and the confidence kept growing. By the time, so I ended up spending a lot of time in Libertyville with Motorola. Ended up spending a lot of time in Waterloo, Canada, with Research in Motion, the BlackBerry, and ended up spending a lot of time in Finland with the Nokia folks. And I do remember, at one point I came back and I was talking to my boss, and he asked me, he goes, "Well, you've been out there, what do you think our chances are?" And my answer was pretty simple. Remember at the beginning I said I had no idea what equity meant? Now I do, right? And I'm seeing Apple stock, slowly creep up.
Yep.
And so I negotiated so that my future raises or my bonuses would be done in equity. And I told them there is zero chance this thing is not going to be a monster success.
There is zero chance this thing is not going to be. You knew.
I knew, and the reason being is I was spending time with their executives, I was spending time with their architects, I was spending time with their engineers, and not only were we pulling their best, but the sentiment at Motorola at the time was, you know what, we have the razor, we have more colors coming out, we may be able to squeeze, a little bit more and make it a bit thinner, and that was it. They thought that they were going to continue to own. At BlackBerry, the notion was, well, we're not going to take you guys seriously because you guys are never going to get the
business.
the business side of it, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
you guys can go fight it out with Motorola and Nokia for the consumer side. And then at Nokia, it was more about, we can't compete with Motorola and BlackBerry, but we can come up with better imaging technology. And so they were literally building a great point and shoot camera that just happened
had
to have
cellular
cellular
built in,
connectivity.
yeah.
And the knowledge that I had in terms of what we were building, I said, all right, we have the form factor down, right, in the design. I just kept thinking about there's no way that something that is multi-touch is not going to be successful because you can convert that into anything that you want. Whereas with the BlackBerry, you're pretty much locked, right, with the physical product.
It's pretty remarkable, Jose, how, myself included, a lot of people just wrote it off, the original iPhone. They saw this thing and they scoffed. Literally me, I saw the thing and I was just like, yeah, right, a touchscreen phone? How's that gonna work? Who's gonna wanna use a touchscreen phone? BlackBerry, dominant. Nokia, billions of devices. And Motorola Razr, everyone wanted the Razr. And then Apple was just like, yeah, we think we could do this.
You know what it was? If you're looking at it from the outside looking in, right, even when we launch, how are you going to compete with it?
Yeah, exactly, how?
But it was, I remember for me, it was finally being able to hand the unit to my mom, right, who is the farthest thing from being a technocrat or interested in consumer electronics.
Yeah.
And her looking at it and saying, oh, this is how I unlock it. Right. And just seeing her reaction, that was like the final validation for me that we had a massive, massive hit in our hands.
And I just want to remind the audience here, it took Apple 74 days to ship 1 million iPhones. Now that is on the 10 plus generations of iPod to prove the sort of the form factor, this little rectangular shape, and that people would want to carry something like this around with them. I mean, it was sort of proved already with Nokia, BlackBerry, Ericsson, the Samsungs, the Sidekicks, but to have something with a new form factor, with multi-touch, and it was just, I think to me also, partially, because it was something new, where like, Apple wasn't a new company, but like, oh, whoa, Apple's making a phone now? Whoa, that seems kind of like far-fetched and bizarre and weird, but like, let me actually give it a chance. And for me, I love sharing because like I said, I wrote it off. I was using at the time.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you were using.
I was using, so in 2000, it was December of 2007. I was a senior in high school, and I got the Sidekick LX. And I remember seeing, no, was it? Yeah. I remember seeing the iPhone.
I took their RF architect.
Man,
he was
Danger,
essential.
That whole Danger story is the operating system is called Danger. Before the Sidekick, I had a device called the T-Mobile MDA, which was an HTC. Remember HTC?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I don't know where HTC went. It was an HTC Windows Phone 6.5, sliding to reveal the full QWERTY keyboard, but then it was a resistive touchscreen that required a stylus. Mm-hmm. You could like use your nail to hit the start menu. And so I didn't really understand multi-touch and capacitive versus resistive. And so I saw the iPhone spinning slowly in the glass case, and I'm just like, who wants that? Because my experience with the touchscreen was not great. And so I was like, screw the iPhone. I'm getting a Sidekick. I'm gonna be the coolest kid in school, flipping my little Sidekick around. And then my friend Rami Jaber from Freehill Township High School had an original iPhone. And we were touring Rutgers, the school that I went to, and we were on a bus. It was the first time I saw the original iPhone in person. And he opened up Google Maps, because people don't remember. It shipped with Google Maps on the original iPhone, which is a crazy partnership to look back on. And the little GPS blip like moved with us in the bus, and I'm like, I am holding like a GPS communicator. There's no cables. It's not a big clunky, and I'm like, this is insane. That this is like one of the programs that exists on this $800 smartphone. Whoa. And then one more thing happened. Like a month or two later, I saw Rami again. This is like in the summer. And I remember seeing the threaded text messages. Because back in the day, it's crazy how quickly we've gotten used to like just modern smartphone and modern smartphone computing. Back in the day, every single text that you got was just like another line. It didn't have this, most phones didn't have threaded messages. It seems like such an obvious thing. So Rami showed me the text, and he's like, yeah, you could just like, you go back and you have this long list and the inertial scrolling, and you could stop, you could go in, and the screen slides over and you see all of your messages, and I'm just like, camped out for the iPhone 3G at the Freehold Mall.
Nice.
And
for how long?
Longer than I'd like to admit, admittedly. I probably got there at like midnight, and the store opens at like 7, 8 in the morning. I camped out for the 3G, the 3GS, the 4, the 4S. I camped out for the iPhone 5. That was the one I moved to Manhattan, 5S, and I think the 6 also. And then I think eventually the sort of, you could depend on ordering online. Yeah. Because I just was obsessed with being, well, Australia always got it first, right? Like overseas got it first. But I was obsessed, still am, love being an early adopter. I was obsessed with this notion of like, I am literally on the East Coast of the United States, one of the first few hundred human beings to have my iPhone.
There you go.
I say all those people in California have to wait another 3 hours before their stores open.
I probably got to see your iPhone light up on the map back in the early days.
It's awesome to think back to like, I mean, you had an original iPhone when the original iPhone came out. How really few and far between they were for the first, like, I think it was really the iPhone 5 that, to me as a consumer, turned a new leaf for Apple.
I think it definitely created a bigger
in terms of penetration. It was like the original one. Okay, it's like this new concept, new thing. 3G, 3GS. Okay, cool new form factor, faster phone. Then 4 and 4S were like, whoa, insane industrial design, glass sandwich, you know, the antenna band, really crazy, like cool. And then the 5, taller, you know, full metal body.
Better camera, by far.
Yes, much better camera. And so I feel like around then, yeah, it was like 2000, because 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2012. I had graduated college, The Verge launched. It felt like there was just like this rapid adoption sort of started. And I remember, Jose, I vividly remember in summer of 2012, I just remember reading this report. It was like smartphone adoption, penetration in the US is like, I don't know, it was like 20%, something like that. And it was like predicting in the year, whatever, 2020 was gonna be 70, 80%. And now you look around, and every single person has some sort of glass slab smartphone-like device. You are hard-pressed to find someone that is not over 80 years old that doesn't carry some sort of iPhone or smartphone. Okay, let's fast forward just for the sake of time.
Yep.
We're already sort of past time. You leave Apple. We'll come back
Yep.
to more of the Apple stuff at a further episode. But you left Apple to go with Mr. Tony.
I followed Tony. So I ended up, the last two assignments I had at Apple were built the camera and imaging team basically from scratch. And also the same thing with acoustics. So iPhone 5 was my last project on the camera side. On the acoustical side, my last project was building out the team that eventually shipped the AirPod 10 years later. Yeah, and the week that I decided to leave Apple, Apple had become the world's most valuable company for the first time ever. It was the same week that I was promoted to the job that I've been working towards for 3 or 4 years.
Which was what?
I wanted to be in charge of basically everything and anything from a recruiting perspective on SPG, right? And I was given the opportunity to do that.
Wow.
But reconnecting with Tony Fadell, right? It was impossible for me to not be brought back to 2002, right? And that same energy, right? It was same energy that I remember him having, but this time, it was in terms of building something that was going to have a bigger effect, a bigger impact than just building a beautiful, advanced piece of technology. He was talking about, putting a dent on energy waste, right? He was talking about making sure that we were bringing love to the unloved products of the home. He was talking about, bringing the consciousness of devices, right? And utilizing machine learning, right, to help us to have a better experience at home. And for me, it was hook, line, and sinker. I literally had lunch with them.
Wow.
Did an interview, had lunch with them. They made me an offer.
Wow.
They made me an offer on the way back to Apple. Like, I went to Palo Alto to the garage where they were working. And by the time I got to the parking lot at Apple, I saw my boss. Right, and by the way, this is a new boss, a new person who just come in. And I made up my mind right there and there and basically resigned on the spot.
What number employee were you at Nest?
Nest, I was employee number 30.
30.
Yep.
And this was when? What year?
This would have been April 2011.
Wow. Because Apple had its massive bull run in basically all of, in all of the 2010s is really when, Apple had its massive meteoric rise.
But you know what,
you
though?
left.
But by that time, I started working at Apple when there were less than 6,000 people.
Less than 6,000.
Yeah, by the time I left, I think we were over 70.
Wow.
When I was there,
Wow.
my access was broad.
Wow.
My access was deep. As the company became more and more successful, right, my responsibilities narrow.
Yep.
And
I'm
I
listening.
was missing the earlier days. I was missing, having to learn, new things. And, and to be honest with you, the 2000s and 10s were amazing for Apple, but a lot of the heavy lifting had already been done. And so I started
infrastructure
feeling,
was-
yep,
yeah.
I started feeling as if, it was more about the brand than about the people in terms of the impact, right? I still love Apple. I still wish them well. Some of my closest friends are still there, but I just couldn't do it anymore, right? I needed something different, and more importantly, I needed something that was going to have a more profound impact, not necessarily from an economics perspective, but to the world. And so being part of that, green tech revolution back in those days at the onset, and also, what eventually became IoT, it was too hard for me to pass on that. I'm addicted to 0 to 1. I'm addicted to doing things that never been done before. And so, we went from 30 in a tiny little garage in Palo Alto
To getting acquired by Google.
Yeah.
And not that long after, right?
I believe it was, 4 years, 3.5 years for me, 4 years for them, for the 29 before me.
So I just want to sort of stop and say for a second, I read Tony's book called Build, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
On the beach in Tel Aviv, like right before I came to San Francisco for Humane. And in the second half of the book somewhere, there's like a little paragraph, and this guy is name dropped. And obviously I knew that you worked here because I've been, studying and
We had lunch.
researching.
We had lunch
Well,
together.
we had lunch also, yes,
Yep.
but like in doing my research, on LinkedIn and the website and all that stuff, like I knew you worked here, I knew you worked at Apple, but I didn't really understand the Nest thing. And then when Tony said your name in the book, I was like, dang, Jose has been there, you've seen companies go from literally not having a product
Yep.
to
Or employees.
impacting to impacting. It's not even an exaggeration to say billions. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Over 1 billion iPhones have been sold. That is absolutely insane. Like it is unfathomable to think even what 100 million devices is, let alone, it's like over 1 billion have been sold, and even right now online, there's over 1 billion active iOS devices, which like one singular product, the little iPod that could changed the world.
Information age. It brought the information age.
Because now everyone has this, not supercomputer, but pretty damn capable camera, internet browser, communicator, you can do a lot of things on your smartphone. It has changed the sense of like what it means to be connected, right? Like I personally like to leave my phone at home so I can feel like I'm not tied to the grid of sorts, It's just nuts how, I was following Apple as a kid, right? And then so many people here are individually responsible for helping bring a lot of this stuff to life,
That's the cool thing about, where we are today.
Yeah.
The ability to get, the old folks like me, right, with the next generation, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and bridge that.
Yes,
And
it feels really cool.
yeah, it feels really cool. And, for me, it was easy to, it was easy to say, yes to Humane after 2 years of saying no to everyone. And,
Why? Because of the team?
well,
The ambition?
to be honest with you, it wasn't necessarily the team at first, right? It was a small team.
Yep.
For me, it was, again, moonshot, right?
0 to 1.
0 to
doing
1.
an impossible thing.
Doing the impossible thing. But for me, it was Bethany and Imram and their perspective on the people side of things, which is my business, right? The ability for them to understand that how Apple operated can never be replicated and should never be replicated.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And to, to challenge me, to help to create the culture of trust, truth, and joy, right? But making sure that we have a strategy of bringing the right people on board with the right intentions was first and foremost. Again, the second one, 0 to 1, give me the biggest challenge that you can, and I'm super excited. The third piece, though, you mentioned, the mind-blowing statistic of how many people have touched the product of the team that I helped to put together. But to me, honestly, I have never thought about that. And the reason being is, I think more about the individuals that come in, and those are the ones that I worry about, right? Have I done right by them in terms
People
of...
that you hire, you're saying, yeah.
in terms of, have I put them in a position that truly impacted their lives in a positive way, that truly, put them in a better position for themselves and their families, both from a, financial perspective, which is secondary, important but secondary, but even more important from a career development perspective, right? And so, by the time the project got big, I just didn't feel that I was putting that much impact, right? And so this was an opportunity to maybe recreate that and recreate what I did at NES. But ultimately, though, we're not telling you guys what we're working on just yet. But ultimately, though, I feel that as awesome as the iPhone has been, and the smartphone revolution, and the mobile and information age in general has been, I think that we unfortunately failed to think about the framework, right? That could have prevented some of the disconnects that we have in life. You mentioned you leave your phone behind.
Yeah.
For the last several years,
Yeah.
I've been carrying this guilt of going to restaurants and seeing everyone, glued to their screens. Like, you see a family and everyone has a screen. You see, a couple
Wow.
and everyone has a screen. Going to
Wow.
concerts, right? I love music. It's one of the reasons why I was excited about iPod. And myself included, not paying attention to the magical experience that it is being live,
Yep.
right, in a musical event, and instead,
Yep.
right, capturing
Yep.
a digital image,
Yep.
and that being the only, memory that you have,
Yeah.
being in nature and being so worried about capturing the perfect image, right, that really has, taken away, that pride and that excitement from it. And it's
yeah.
not to say that we did it on purpose, not to say
Yeah,
that
it's
we
just,
did
it's
anything
so,
wrong. We
so
just
hard
failed.
to anticipate, though,
Yeah.
what adoption would look like. Like the iPhone didn't have to be successful.
Yep.
The iPhone didn't have to usher in the smartphone revolution, but it did.
Yeah, it was going to. It was going to. And so with Humane, though, I bought into the earlier, right, into the earlier mantra that technology has to feel more natural, has to be more familiar.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so for me, it was a tough decision to, tell my wife, hey, I'm retiring.
So you were fully retired?
I was fully retired. I was a stay-at-home dad. I had started a business with a partner of mine, opening restaurants, and we had just launched our first one.
Wow.
And
So you weren't really retired. You were kind of, you had a hobby.
But you know what, though? Going from working at a place like NVIDIA, Apple, Nest,
Yeah.
to doing a restaurant, as hard as restaurants are, and believe me, they're
It's
really
different.
hard.
Yeah, different
Yeah, it
ballgame.
was a different dimension.
Yeah, yeah. And now at Humane, you're doing what here?
I'm the head of
Jose?
talent.
Head of talent.
Yep, my job is to make sure that we're bringing in the right individuals, right? That not only can help us to build and get the product out the door, but equally important is to make sure that we're staying true to continuing to expand the culture on the trust, truth, and joy. And so, it's a job that I take seriously. It's a job that my team takes extremely to heart. How do we build an organization, right, that can, culture add to those values to make sure that that sentiment flows into the experience of the product and the technology.
So you have helped bring in to here.
21 to 185 in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. We're still hiring.
We're still hiring. We're hiring quite a bit, actually. Still.
Is there any particular areas that we are, people ask like, oh, is Humane hiring? What sort of jobs? A lot of people have been asking.
The beauty about Humane and the challenge about Humane, from my perspective, is that we're building everything, right? We're building everything
Yep.
from hardware,
Yep.
To operations, to system software, to the whole, stack. And so, yes, primarily right now, we're focusing on system software. We're looking for individuals with cellular validation technology. We're looking for individuals that want to boot up the device, right? And we want to make sure that we can amplify, that experience. We're looking for, AI engineers, computer vision engineers, services.
Security.
Security is monumental in terms of what we're looking for.
You hear that? We're hiring.
Yeah, we're hiring.
hu.ma.ne/jobs.
Yep. Or Jose at that domain.
hu.ma.ne.
Yep.
So if you want to get in touch,
Please reach out.
on LinkedIn also,
Yep. Jose Cong at LinkedIn.
Jose Cong. Could you please describe a day in your life? At this point, probably not, to be honest.
Each day is different.
As much as I would love to share, we're still in stealth, but we are, going to be announcing, revealing, showing off this first thing that we've built sometime.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Can you?
Perspective.
I don't know. Yeah, talk to me.
I have a very unique perspective in terms
Yes.
of the potential for this. In terms of the reaction, every single week we're having people start. Right? It could be one person, it could be 7, but every single week, pretty much, we have somebody new starting. My favorite day of the week and my favorite time of the week, it's Mondays at around 11. And the reason being is that I have instructed every new employee starting that Monday that by 11 a.m., which is right the time when the unveiling has happened, I need to know, what the reaction is. Again, I care about people, right? I care at the fact that these people are making a decision and trusting me and my team.
Right. And I just want to be clear. When you take a job here, you don't know.
You have no idea what you're going to be working on, right? You have a sense in terms of the skills and responsibilities.
Maybe you saw my YouTube video. Maybe. But you truly don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know what Humane was building until I joined. And someone had asked before, does Sam know what they're working on here? Yes. I've seen the product. Yes. Once you join the company, one of the first things that happens is you see what we're.
But that's the coolest part of my job. Is just seeing the reactions of the new employees, right?
You're also responsible for partially responsible for bringing them in.
Yep.
So it's like you get to bring them all the way through that kind of that process. All right, Jose, it's 10:30.
Oh, yep. Speaking of
you definitely have
responsibilities.
places to be.
Yep.
I have places to be. Will there be a pre-order for the device? Will it be direct to consumer, retail stores? Great questions. TBD. Definitely considering, those are good questions, Michael Superbacker, and we'll have answers for you. You're asking the right questions. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Get in touch with Jose if you're interested in working in Humane, if you're any of the roles that you just mentioned, engineering roles, you said AI, computer vision, go to the website, go to the jobs portal, join the Discord. There's a link in the YouTube description to join the Discord. I should have said that before, but I think there's 135 people in here. So if you're not in the Discord yet, in the description of this video, sign up for product updates, follow Humane on social media, and I'll see you next week. Jose, thanks for hanging out. And at some point in the future, we can dive in maybe a little bit deeper.
More stories.
More stories, because you definitely have so many.
I've been the fly on the wall.
When Jose on Discord, I think Jose, you're
I
in
am.
Discord,
Yep,
right?
you can definitely find me there.
The people want to hear from you. All right, chat. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend, everybody.